G'day race fans, it's Adrian here and welcome back to Just a Ride. G'day guys, how are we? I hope we're well. Okay, the next chapter, the new game. As a bit of housekeeping first, the KTM two-stroke motard. It was happily acquired by a gentleman in Cairns in far north Queensland, Mick. Hey, how are you mate? I hope you enjoy the bike buddy, I really do man. Cairns is like 1,000 or more, actually is more than 1,000 kilometres from where I am. So we had to parcel up the bike, a little bit of a care package with some merch. Hope you enjoy those too, buddy. And it went on a big truck and it went up to Cairns. It was sad to see that bike go. That was a ton of fun putting that together. Absolute blast. But it served its purpose. See you, Motard. It served its purpose, and its purpose was to fund the next chapter. I know, right? A few of you may know that a few months ago I rented an e-bike and for 3 hours, and in the first 15 minutes of that 3 hours I knew I was gonna have to own one of these bikes, and I knew that it wasn't what it seemed. So I know what that seems like. It seems like a push bike, doesn't it? Seems like I'm gonna shave my legs and buy some lycra and do my thing. I can attest to you that the legs will stay hairy. They may be scarred and bruised like they were once years ago when I used to ride, but the legs won't get shaved and there will be no lycra on me. It's not what it seems. Yeah, how can I? It's so hard to articulate what it is like, the sensation of riding one of these bikes. It's pedal assisted, the motor. So only when you pedal it do you get anything from the motor. But what you get from that motor is astonishing. I've owned this like maybe a week now, week and a half. And the first real hit out I had on some local single trail, really elaborate system of single trails. I banged out 52 kilometres in like 3.5 hours, something like that. Felt relatively good at the end of that 52 kilometre, like that's 52 k's of single track as well, not just riding on a straight road. Really engaging in every wheel revolution and putting it in the right place, and it's I would never have done that on an analog bike. I can assure you of that. 52 k's in single track, no way. Funnily enough, had a bit of angst or hate from some analog riders whilst out on the trails. They have this perception of us, us already. They have this perception of these types of bikes that you're cheating, and I can understand how they're thinking like that, but I'm not cheating because I'm not playing the same game that they are playing. Like I said, it's a new sport. It's a branch off of what we knew, which was cycling, but it's branched off of cycling and it's headed towards the things I really truly do love. There's a motorcycle, and it's this amalgamation of it's a new sport. It's like what you know, but it's not. They are they're just such a joyous thing. Let me give you a little close up, guys. Just as someone who appreciates the finer craftsmen, the metal things in life, as we do, right, guys? Check this out. So there's the motor, about the size of your fist, you know. But they weren't mucking about when they welded that, were they? Also where the top tube meets the down tube. That is a weld. There is so much strength in this. It is astonishing. It's quite thick too. Have a, all right, top tube. The battery is encased in here, obviously. The motor. Massive axles, like a through axle, like a motorcycle. Actually, this made me made me dig out the old downhill rig out of the time capsule. This is the last downhill rig that I ever rode and worked upon, and it has its axles were just, you know, like what we know as a push bike, right? You know, anyone over 35 years old, that's a push bike axle, isn't it? You know, a little dropout. They're not dropouts out, not dropouts now, are they? That's a straight through axle, so strong. There's a weld there. It's extraordinary. I'll just give you a little, so on. 3 modes. Easy, I've never even ridden in that. Trail mode, it's an intuitive mode that delivers more power the more torque you put through the cranks. And turbo. That there is a hell of a lot of fun, sir. Like so there's, yeah. It's estimated range with 1 bar of battery. In turbo I'll get 10 Ks. But in that trail mode, 16 Ks, and in the mode you don't use, 32. 196 Ks on the clock since I've owned it. Is just one hell of a rig. The evolutionary steps just of the bike itself. Like, let's talk about what it perceives to be, what it seems to be as a mountain bike. And back, it's been 15 years maybe since I hardcore used to downhill, and all of that was on 26-inch wheels. So this thing's 29 and 27 and a half. And it doesn't sound like much. Even just the 1.5 inch greater diameter on the rear is a world away from what I know. And 3 inches at the front just makes for this wheel that wants to roll over anything. It doesn't get jagged on anything. And match that with a motor, an intuitive motor that understands that you're on a little bit of a tight, techie section and you're putting some serious horsepower through the cranks. It just goes, oh, I'll have a little bit more. It's not like someone, like when you're a kid and mum and dad or someone's on the back holding your bike up and giving you a push. It kind of feels like that. You've just, it's so, like I said, I'm struggling to articulate what it is and what it feels like to ride this. I just spent a weekend away on the block with some friends who are certainly not cycling friends in any way, shape or form. And this went with me up to the block, and successively everybody rode this bike. Man, woman and child. And they all were amazed. And it's worth its weight in gold. The first 7 or 8 seconds of anybody riding that, after, you know, they sit on it and you give them the brief and that first pedal stroke, whoa, oh, when they feel the motor go, oh, you want some? That's gold. But it's this is not going to become a Lycra-based cycling channel. It is not. This is still a 2 wheels and a motor channel. It is just a different facet, a different bow in my quiver. You know, I have a dirt bike, and I have a road track bike, and I have a motard, and I have the rip your face off Fireblade, and this is all there to try and make me a better rider, which is all I want to be, right? And if I have to turn a tool to help me be a better rider, I will turn a tool. I'm actually really excited about turning a tool on this. It's the first full-on U-Butte. I'm the first to ever owned it. New thing I've ever purchased. So that's cool. There's a part of me that doesn't want to break the seal of a nut yet, but I know at some point I'm gonna have to. Been certainly given some new school cycling advice that tubeless is the way to run at the moment. Like I bought it in the shop, minus the trinkets. That still has tubes in it, so I'm seeing to get new tyres that are tubeless compatible, and some rim tape and some goo that you squeeze in there, and make that tubeless. And that way I can run less PSI and have more grip, and take out the option of actually having a pinch flat. And if you do get a flat, you got the sealant in there, it seals anyway, you don't even know you got a flat. So that's something that was never in back in the day for me, in the early noughties and the late noughties when I was downhilling. So yeah, wheel size, technology of tyre, crazy, suspension. This bike actually rides better than any downhill bike I ever owned or rode back in the early 2000s. There's no coil over that shock. It's just an air shock at the rear. And it's unbelievable. Forks are decent. I don't attest at all to this being a top of the line e-bike. This is not. I know this is an entry to mid-level e-bike. So hence the running gear and shocks and forks and things are just going to be your base setting. But even that is impressive. It's a fountain of youth. It's a fountain of youth. It's unbelievable, guys. So I will certainly be sharing some e-bike related stuff on Just a Ride. But it's like I said, there's just another bow in my quiver. Come, enjoy my quiver with me, guys, as I share it with you. Alright, guys, I'm about to stare at this thing a little longer. Take care, be well.